Norman, welcome to Buds.com, a launch of our 2026 World Cup auction. Behind me, quite a famous shirt that obviously you might recognise. Tell us about it.
Yeah, very first international, and it happened to be in the World Cup in 1982, which was amazing, really, against Yugoslavia when they had a team. And the famous thing about this shirt is that when I wore it and made my debut, that I took over Pelé's record as being the youngest ever World Cup player, and as you know, still hold to this day. But the funny thing was, Pelé sent a little, it was hilarious, Pelé sent a little message to me saying, like, Norman, I congratulate you for beating my record. I hope you go on and have the same World Cup success as me and win 3 World Cups.
Yeah, right, fantastic. Yeah, absolutely. You bit of South American humour. And not a bad record to beat, I have to say, sort of thing. So, but again, 58, Pelé was an unknown. This young 17-year-old kid going to the World Cup in Sweden, coming back with a winner's medal, which we have in the auction coming up, which is fantastic, which you can see over there. But same sort of thing. So you unknown going out there. I spoke to you earlier on. Obviously, you were. Scotland went to Europe, England went to Europe, you guys went to Brighton, you were telling me?
We went to Brighton, yeah. Like splashing out in Brighton. And it didn't do us any harm. We had a heat wave, actually. We'd done quite well. But the other thing people forget, Dave, about my debut, I'm also the youngest to get booked. I got booked on my debut. So people forget about that. So I'll bring it up the odd time. But
that's Northern Ireland sort of coming out there as well, absolutely. And as I've seen, obviously you were number 16. Again, we discussed it earlier on. You just were given a number. You didn't think you were going to be playing in the games at all. So
exactly, I think people associate numbers 1 to 11. The first 11. But Billy Bingham, it just turned out that he gave me number 16. But he was saying to me that he wasn't sure if I was going to play or not. But then I did well in Brighton. And he said, look, he changed his man after the first week, and it didn't matter what number I had, he was putting me in the first team, which was great.
Amazing, absolutely amazing. And what was it like? What was the experience like?
I think I took it in my stride, actually. I was okay. I think some of the senior pros, like Sammy McIlroy and Martin O'Neill, I think they were more nervous than me, to be honest. But I soaked it up. I'd only ever played 100 minutes in Division 1, and then to go on the World Cup stage. It was huge. I mean, I was saying before, the publicity and the journalists and the cameras, and it was daunting. But I think I coped with it quite well. I mean, the first game 0-0. I don't think I really had any chances, but give a good account of ourselves, and that set us on our way for that World Cup.
Absolutely perfect. And to see this is obviously the white shirt from that particular day, and obviously you've auctioned it before. You were telling me, obviously a few years ago, it's come back round again, and it's great to have it back next to the person that wore it, sort of thing. But you swapped a few shirts. You were telling me earlier on as well in your World Cup career.
Yeah, I think I got a French one, and I think I got I did get a Brazilian one. I know that. So they were nice shirts to have. But the other ones I sort of kept to myself, because if I kept a green one and I kept a white one, so I have one of each, sort of thing like that. But I've got a couple of nice shirts to swap. It's always nice. In those days, you had one shirt. I think today you can keep one and swap one, and I think that's a wee bit different these days. But you had to choose yourself whether you wanted to keep yours or did you want Platini's over there.
That's a big feeling. But in hindsight, if you know now what stuff is worth, you go straight after them. But the modern shirts, I mean, we think there's 4 shirts per game these days, so you might want to change in the second half because you're a bit sort of sweaty, or you're going to swap the second half shirt and swap the ready people, so it's a difficult one to count. Yeah. But these are proper old shirts. I mean, Adidas, fantastic. So, I mean, the shirt market I've seen before at the moment, it's just fantastic at the moment, and to get something like this.
I like the embroidery, not the sticker.
No. I think, and these, this shirt's lasted up, was it 46 years? The years of age next year in the World Cup, and you can still put it on and wear it today, so it's not a thing. Talk about World Cup, your sort of best World Cup memory.
Well, it's obviously got to be making my debut, but I do remember playing against Brazil, but I was running around like a headless chicken. They were just taking the mick out of me and nutmegging me and running behind me, and I was like, I think that game, Billy Bingham gave me the hook.
Is that, you know,
So I got off that game. But
absolutely.
yeah, to play against, it's always a player's dream to play in the Premier League. Then from there you go and you want to represent your country. But then the biggest thing of all is if you represent your country in a World Cup.
Yeah.
It's the biggest achievement you can sort of
I
have.
can imagine. And you know, because obviously you're Irish, I'm Scottish. We haven't got past the first round at the time we've played in the World Cup. You've done that. You've got out
Oh, we did that.
the group stages,
We did that,
absolutely.
yeah.
And you know, I shouldn't. Well, I've got you here. Obviously, we're in Manchester at the moment in the National Football Museum. Tell me about United. What was it like playing for United? Scoring the winning goal in the '85 Cup final, etc., etc.
Yeah, I've got so many things at Old Trafford, like a TMTM, too many to mention. You know, and before I was 21, I'd scored in 3 Wembley finals and played in 2 World Cups. And the score in Wembley finals, the one that I got the hat trick, Dave, because in '83 we lost to Liverpool in the League Cup, but I scored with my right foot. And then '83 against Brighton in the FA Cup final, I scored with my head. And then '85 in the FA Cup final,
The iconic goal.
against Everton, I scored with my left foot. So I got the hat trick, right foot, left foot, and header. Perfect.
Absolutely amazing. No, because we've got a beautiful photograph. It's actually a private photograph taken of you just taking the shot. You know, the left peg going around the keeper, and the chap who owns it. Just, you know, is always in the crowd. It's just a brilliant angle sort of thing. So I said, one day you should really get that printed. Get Normie to sign a couple of copies, make a couple of quid sort of thing. So, Nick, you've got some questions you want to throw in there as well?
I have. So they're actually a question for both of you. Can answer these, isn't it?
Yeah.
So, what would be your all-time favourite World Cup moment? Not just yours, but any World Cup. So, what would that be?
Being a Scotsman? You know.
I sort of remember the West Germany and Holland game, and there was Cruyff, I think, was brought down in the first 20 seconds or something, because I was a kid, and it sticks in your mind, you know, like World Cup finals and things like that. And it was Holland, Germany, West Germany. And that sticks in my mind as a kid, that final. And then obviously the other one, more recent, around about this, well, the same time as this, '82, was the Brazil and it was a France semi-final. Brazil were the best team, but they didn't win it, obviously. So I remember that game as sticking out.
I've got 2 actually. So 78 with Archie Gemmill against Holland. I think we're going to do it. We're going to get out of the group stages. You know, we're going to win because back in Scotland we win the World Cup. Ali McLeod, we won the World Cup. It's coming home. There's no quite. I mean, we went in that plane. We're winning it. I was an 8-year-old thinking, who's going to win the World Cup? It's going to be amazing. Out in the first round, Archie Gemmill, and I think the second one would be '86. Funny enough, talking about Shelton. Maradona's second goal. I think it was just.
Of course.
From the controversy, obviously the hand of God shot. The goal before, but watching it and seeing him score the second goal, and even the commentator saying, "You can't do any better than that." I just never see anything better.
They've coming back from I think it was '86 World Cup. So the Scottish team were we were on the same flight, and the Scottish boys are all in business class in Northern Ireland again. We're at the back of the plane, but we all stood at the back and having a few beers and stuff. And Alan Ruff is a bit funny guy, and Charlie Nicholas and all the boys were all messing around, and then at the back and we're all standing with a beer, and Alan Ruff pipes up and he says, "All those that haven't been chipped by the best players in the world," he says. Do you remember Brazil? Was it?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Good God, I know.
It was funny.
It was, yeah, good old days.
So can you describe the World Cup in one word?
Oh, well, you've been a player. I mean, you must be amazing as a player.
Yeah, I was going to say amazing, but yeah, I mean, one word's difficult to describe it, but yeah, magnificent, amazing, just the best. Yeah.
Yeah, I can't.
That's 2 words, but the best. Pinnacle
yes.
is your career.
Scotland got me miracle.
Miracle, yeah. No, it's we're good at qualifying, just not getting out of the group stage, and that's always been the issue, sort of thing. So, and that's always. I mean, I suppose it's like England, and I suppose in Ireland's the same, and Republic. It's the hype beforehand. We're going to do it. We're going to do it. Not even that. Even Euros as well. We're going to do it. We're going to do it. And just
the other thing I meant to mention, which I nearly forgotten, and they'd kill me in Northern Ireland for this, but when we beat Spain in the '82 World Cup, it was just incredible. That's probably one of the World Cup highlights for me. You know, beating host nation, and then we topped our group, and we got out of our group, you know, and and went on to the next phase. But that was the atmosphere that night was incredible. We had a little pocket of Northern Ireland supporters in the corner, and then the rest obviously were all the Spanish in Valencia, and it was just amazing. And Jerry scored, Jerry Armstrong, and we won 1-0, took us through. So I remember that game outstanding. Yeah.
So the last question is, which we're going to ask loads of people, but as a montage. But what does the World Cup mean to you?
It's the best you can do as a professional footballer. Like I say, you want to play for a professional team. You want to play in the Premiership. You want to play for your country, but then you want to play for your country at a higher level, i.e., World Cups. So it's the best you can do.
Yeah, memorabilia-wise, obviously, you're one of 22 players that have been picked out of the whole of the nations to play for your country there. And in terms of memorabilia-wise, the highest value will be World Cup memorabilia. That's the top of the tree, and you obviously work your way down. So for me, obviously, especially for Norman as a player, to get to that level, unbelievable. But as a specialist, then memorabilia for the World Cup is always the best. And in the auction itself, you know, we've got Pelé's, obviously, Norman shirt, the youngest player ever to play, and the youngest player to win a medal at the World Cup final. And of course, your ninth fastest goal.
Don't forget that.
The ninth fastest goal
In the '86 World Cup.
So I mean, things like that we don't know about as a specialist. You know, Norman told me that this morning. So he get that watch. He was chased around Old Trafford from months. He was telling me by a young woman. I won't say any more than that. But so he's going to give him a watch. Ninth fastest goal in the World Cup final. Oh yeah, well there you go. I didn't know that existed until this morning. And obviously, in that World Cup, your teammate completely scored the quickest goal. Help me out. Brian Robson got a gold example. So that's just for those who are watching. That's yellow metal, but Brian got a gold version for scoring the winning goal. So there you go. Not too bad. So it's, you know, there's things you don't know about bits of memorabilia that come out. And of course, we've done enough players' collections over the years that we get to they're given tea trays and tea sets and pipes and all sorts. And back in the day, we're given ashtrays, cigarette lighters. You know, as gifts. It's crazy sort of thing. Professional sportsmen.
Yeah. I think that's changed though. Do you reckon players still are as proud to play for their country as they do their club? Or is it different now?
I think their country always wins, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, I mean, that's what you strive for, to represent your country. I mean, I always remember our manager of the day was Billy Bingham, and when he had his team meetings, the motivation he would give is, I had goosebumps in the back of my neck. I couldn't wait to put a jersey on to represent my country, because that's what you strive for. It's great playing professional football, but to show that you're better than other people, you represent your country.